Feng Physics Flipped Classroom, a slightly different way to approach learning. Before I go on with this video, I do want to say that there is a more comprehensive video, video 101, that I used at the very beginning of term 1 that goes a lot more in depth. This video is going to just be a quick reminder for those of you that have already been in the flipped classroom. And for those of you that are new to this is also just to give you a baseline. I do recommend for you to go back to video 101 and watch that just so you have a good idea. So, what is a flipped classroom? In a traditional classroom, which is where I want to start, you have lecture, labs, and group discussion in class, and you have lab reports and practice done at home. A flipped classroom basically flips a couple of these items like this. So your traditional homework, your practice, and your lab reports for a science class are going to be done typically in class, whereas the lecture, now similar to the video you're seeing right now, is going to be done at home. The other part that I want to emphasize is the group discussion, and the flipped classroom allows for much more group discussion, and this is where I also want to emphasize your collaboration with your other students. All right, so driving questions. There are 3 driving questions that I want to quickly address. What is the best for the students' learning? When do students need my physical presence the most? And how can I personalize each student's education? Okay, so what is best for the students' learning? There are 4 things here: ownership, pace, accountability, and collaboration. I want all of you to take more ownership. I want you to feel you have a better grasp of the pace. I'm going to hold you to standards and make sure to keep you accountable. And I want you to learn how to collaborate better. Many of you know how to work individually. Not all of you know how to work well in small groups or even a little larger groups, which is how you're most likely going to be working in the future once you get to college and beyond. When do students need my physical presence the most? Typically for guided practice, collaborative work, and group questions. This is when students need my presence the most, not typically for the lecture itself actually. So that's why I'm trying to do the lectures through videos, so you can get the basic information there and that we can go more in depth in class. The in-depth is where you need my presence through the guided practice, collaborative work, and through these group questions. How can I personalize each student's education? Small group interactions, more personal help in class, more time for remediation in class, and pace dictated more by students. And so this is something that I'm still working on. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this for as many students as possible, trying to personalize it for each student. And this is something I'm still working on, and we'll keep working on it for this term. Now, the new thing that I want to talk about is make something a bit more obvious. What's important to me for this class is skill acquisition. And basically all that means is I want you to learn how to learn. So more than just learning physics and learning the equations and learning constants and mass and all of these other terms that you will learn, above all that, I want you to learn how to learn. I want you to learn the skill of learning so that you can translate that into math, into history, into English, into anything when you get to college and when you get into the workforce. If you know how to learn and how to figure things out, that will be much more valuable than just knowing that d equals 1/2 at squared plus v naught t. And so physics is important, but even more so than that, I want you to learn how to learn. So this class may not necessarily be easy for you, but I want you to learn how to struggle properly and how to learn from that experience. So, how is this going to work? I would recommend a composition notebook. From feedback from other students that I've seen, they really like having a composition notebook because all of your notes, all of your practice, all of your physics is in one location. It's not in loose leaf notebook paper that could be strewn around or torn out. It's all in one notebook. Now, there's going to be video almost every night. On average, it's probably going to be every night to every other night or so. So probably about 2 to 3 videos on average per week. Required. This is what you have to be careful of. For every video afterwards, I'm going to check to see that you've taken notes. From here on out, what is also required is I want you to highlight what you think is important. So that can be highlighted or underlined. It needs to pop out at me for when I'm looking through these. If you don't have something highlighted, you're not going to get credit for it. Also, I will try to put questions in the presentations. You need to at least write them down and attempt them. There were too many times in last term that I saw that students did not even write it down, let alone attempt or try a problem. For this class, you need to try. You cannot just give up and say that you can't do it, or we'll just do it in class. We will, but what's important is that you are working through some things on your own first, so that when you come into class, you have a basis, a foundation that we can work on. So when you come to class after video, for the first 5 to 10 minutes, we are going to be working in small group discussions. So for every video, the day you come back, as I go around to each of the students, you will be discussing in your groups the important points that you've highlighted, the questions that you've attempted, as well as if you have any questions you want to ask the people around you so that you can get any misconceptions that you might have taken care of. And if there's anything that's glaring or that a lot of students have a difficulty with, you will write that question down, and then we will have time for a class discussion where we can address all of those things as a class. Now, in order for this to work well, you need to take this discussion time seriously. The students that took this discussion time seriously in first term learned a lot. There are also students that did not take the discussion time seriously, and their grades reflected that as well. So you need to make sure you take this discussion time seriously. This is where you need to take your personal ownership over the material. We will do practice problems from worksheets and online homework in class, and your labs should also be able to be completed in class as well. Now, if you are efficient and you are on top of your work and you are taking care of things as needed, this class could potentially become self-contained. You could even watch the videos in class after you finish your other materials or your other assignments. Some students were able to do this. Now, if you get behind, that's when things will start to pile up, and you have to be careful of that, because once you start to get behind, it's very difficult and it's going to be very time consuming for you to get caught back up. So we also have online homework. You want to sign up through this website. A link will be on the Marist website. We're going to have assignments fairly regularly, and most of the time these can be worked on in class. So you can work on it in class. I don't mind if you collaborate, but I do not want you to copy or just to tell another person what the answer is. And yes, I did hear this happen last term. So feedback. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always trying to make it more personal so that every student has what they need for this class. And so I do welcome honest, constructive feedback to help me. But most of all, it's to help you. And it needs to be constructive. So it's not just that you don't like it. You need to explain why you don't like it or what could be done better so that you do like it and what can help you with your learning. Remember that is always one of the driving questions. What is best for your learning? All right, thanks. I'll see you.